if you're going to stand for something, then make sure it's like, if you're really going to make a stand, making a stand is when you got no way to retreat, when the boats are burned, as they say. You got no way to leave the island. And I guess what I'm trying to say is that is the litmus test of if you are where you should be as a man right now. If you're 25 years old, still dependent on mommy and daddy, if you're sitting there and you're like, I don't have to worry about something, I don't have to worry about my bills, I don't have to worry about this, because I got somebody that'll take care of it if all hell breaks loose, then you haven't reached who you're supposed to be yet. And I think that's what I'm trying to get across is that is the test. That's the question to ask yourself. And a lot of men are refusing to ask themselves that because they want to make an excuse. Well, I'm working towards that, I'll get there. No, you need to be self-sufficient as a man. That is your responsibility, to bear the cross that you can bear. And what you're telling yourself, if you don't have that, is that you're not capable of bearing your own weight in life. That's a real thing to get through your head. That's a tough thing for guys to understand and to embody, that I can't even carry my own weight in life. And if that's that person, if that's where somebody is at, my only hope is that maybe this video or somebody watching will go, dang, I have been relying on other people. I've been out there saying I'm an entrepreneur, but I know I'm not, because if I was to fail, I got my girl over here, she's gonna take care of me. I got my parents' house that I can move back into. So that's not entrepreneurship. That's basically just playing it safe. Go all in on yourself and bear the cross that you can bear the weight of life on yourself, and that's when you find out who you really are.
So when you say put us through the test, give me an example of what exactly is putting through the test.
Well, if you had to start a business, let's just say you're somewhere in life right now and you've been telling yourself, oh, I'm an entrepreneur. That's a big one. Everyone says they're an entrepreneur right now. You're not an entrepreneur if there's someone you can fall back on with no consequence. Entrepreneurship, I believe, requires a consequence. There's got to be something that you lose when you fail. If not, you're a 9-to-5er. You just don't maybe work for the boss, but in reality, you got somebody else over here that's got your back. Real entrepreneurship is burning those boats. It's going into battle knowing nobody's going to come back in. No one's going to come in here to back me up. I don't believe that you can be a real entrepreneur if you don't have everything on the line. You got to have everything on the line to be that person, because inevitably you'll never succeed. When you start going against big killers in the room, when you start working against the people that are real hungry, people who have nothing to lose will always give more than you will. And when you play it safe, those individuals will always crush you, and you'll always have a ceiling above your head that you can never get above, because you're never going to be willing to give it all. I think that one of the best things that happened to me was when I first started the company, I went to rock bottom, being kicked out of a home, not having a car that worked. And once you get there, you go, okay, I've hit rock bottom. I know what that feels like. And then you're willing to give it all because you understand what it's like at the very bottom. When you got a safety net underneath you, you just basically go, all right, well, I want to kind of play it safe, but I also want to take a risk. It's, you're like that person who dips their toe into the water and they don't want to make a full jump in there. It's like, no, you got to jump into the deep end and you got to see if you can swim.
Taking a leap of faith, you would say.
On yourself. You have to take a leap of your faith on yourself no matter what. And everybody at some point does. My firm belief is that the people who take a bigger leap into the darker ocean, the deeper forest that you want to walk into, whatever analogy you want to use, the people who don't have a safety net, that person behind them, are the ones who are willing to go further. I mean, because they're like, hey, listen, you know what? I'm all in. I've burned the boats. I'm all in. Nobody coming to save me. And if you go against one of those people, and you're that person sitting there, and you got somebody else who will save you if things go wrong, they will eat your lunch every single time. So, and I tell people this, when I go into negotiations with individuals, that I come from a position of strength. You never come from a position of I need you, none of that crap. No. And you can't do that in life either. You can't need somebody else and then expect to come from a position of strength in life. Because in essence, you're weak. If you need someone else to survive, if you don't survive, you can't even carry your own weight. You're weak. You've got to man up, you've got to woman up, you've got to adult up at that point.